Here's how you get really good at sales really fast without having to compare yourself for what you see online, getting upset by all the chest-thumping egos on the industry Facebook groups, and without, beating yourself up. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you that fast, easy path to get really good at sales really quickly so you can smash your income goal and give every customer an absolutely amazing experience. Because if you're like me, you got attracted to the roofing industry, not because you love roofs or watching them get installed or doing them yourself. You got into this because it's an incredible opportunity to apply yourself, be personally challenged, serve people, and then get rewarded very handsomely by earning a boatload of money. So first, a quick welcome or welcome back. Adam Bensman here, the Roof Strategist. And everything that I do here on my channel is designed to help you and your team smash your income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. And if you want more of these videos, jump inside my free training center. There's no catch. There's a link in the description, or you can text the word free to 303-222-7133. Owners, managers, great resource to share with your team as well. All right, let's rock and roll. What's the fastest, easiest path to get really good at sales? Now, we're gonna start, I'm gonna spill the beans real quick. It's not by focusing on this word or that word. It's not by this strategy or that strategy. And it's not even by listening to this piece of advice or that piece of advice. It's even simpler than that. The way you get really good at sales really quickly is you focus on what moves the needle. Now, what do I mean by what moves the needle? What I mean is if you're in sales, there are certain things that you do that will, with little effort, help you generate more leads and or generate more sales. There are other things that is like sharpening the saw. So I want to give you a few examples. Now, I'm a nerd in the kitchen. I love to cook, and I love Japanese steel knives. That's my favorite knife to cook with in the kitchen. By the way, if you're a fellow cooking nerd or knife nerd, drop a comment and share some love with me. I love it. So my wife got me this beautiful, I actually have quite a few of them, these, I don't even know brands, they're like handmade in Japan, but I know that when I got them, they often don't come fully sharpened because most people that are nerds about knives, they choose to sharpen the knife how they want. They'll whetstone, get the right angle for the blade and get it to the level of sharpness that they wish. And I know for the average person, they'll say that knife's sharp, but a knife is sharp when you can have a tomato set there and you can slice through it without moving anything. That's when the knife is sharp. And what we want to think about in sales is if I was to give you a knife, we would all agree like a reasonably sharp knife is going to be just fine. You've cooked with a reasonably sharp knife, right? And then you've also probably cooked with a razor sharp knife. Well, is there a really big difference between a sharp knife and a razor sharp knife? No. Is one easier and nicer and more fun? Yes. But will it get the job done? Both of them? Absolutely. But would you also agree that if I gave you a dull knife, like sometimes when you get an Airbnb and you go to the knife drawer and you're like cutting something and you just watch like the tomato roll around and you're like, seriously, this is not even a knife anymore. This is a blunt object. What we need to do, thinking of this in sales terms, is take that blunt object, that Airbnb knife, and get it sharp, at least sharp enough to be good enough to do the job. And then from this level of sharpness to that razor sharpness, that's where we start to fine tune our skill sets. So when we're new in sales, don't get lost in all the little tips, tricks, and strategies. Focus on, okay, if I do this, it will generate this result. And when you start to analyze, and I'll break this down into some specifics for you, we start to analyze, will this actually move the needle? Will this make, this is a question I always ask myself, will this make a statistically significant difference on my ability to generate leads and close deals? And if the answer is no, I don't even pay it any attention. So some people are like, oh, well, if I put a QR code on my direct mail letter, which by the way, I've still yet to see that being highly effective in terms of conversion over a phone call, text, or email, but if your results vary, let me know. Like again, that is not gonna statistically move the needle. Even if you got one more call in a month, like we wanna focus on what can do better than that. So I'll give you an example. What's going to move the needle for the folks who are in door-to-door sales, and I know I'll touch on those of you that aren't in door-to-door, is getting out in front of more doors and focusing on what we say right when we show up. Because the hardest part when we're in sales is getting the conversation going. So if this was my roof that was being installed, I'd be out here during the install knocking all these neighbors, and I would know exactly what I was going to say as I showed up. I'd knock, I'd take a step back, I'd say, hey, I'd introduce myself, my name's Adam. Listen, the reason I'm stopping by, I'd step out further, I'd point to the house, mention the homeowner by name and say, hey, we're installing their roof. I'm sure you heard the noise. Listen, I wanted to give you my card, and then I'm gonna go into the whole spiel of why I'm there to service the neighborhood. Now that's gonna help move the needle because once I'm in conversation, what happens later in that conversation, I've got a little bit more runway because of the rapport I've built. But if I focus exclusively on what I'm gonna say once I'm in conversation, conversation, I might never get to that point because I failed to focus on the first step. So when we focus on what moves the needle, what we're looking for is, in order, what do we need? What skill sets do we need to build? First, I need to start a conversation. Then I need to keep that conversation going to create the need to then get up on the roof. And then from there, I need to get invited inside. Once I'm inside, I need to learn how to create the need for the homeowner to want my services. From there, I need to then present my solution. After I present, I need to learn how to ask for the business, and then I need to learn how to kickstart that crazy, awesome relationship, and then ask for those referrals before I leave the house. By the way, just a quick high-level snapshot of some of the components of my car park closing formula that is being used by many, many thousands of people, by the way, in every state in the US, Canada, even Australia, and even Sweden. And when we focus again on good, from okay to good, a good salesperson can still make a lot of money. And then in time, you can sharpen that knife. So again, I want you to just simplify this. Keep it really simple. How do I take the really dull knife and just make it sharp enough to do the job? And that's why in my sales system, and this is just my training philosophy, okay? My philosophy is this. Some training systems out there are like, hey, we have all these great videos and they're gonna advertise how many numbers of videos or how many hours. I'm like, but it doesn't matter. What we need is to get someone battle ready in the fastest path possible. Skip the fluff, skip explaining it, like do this, the results will follow. So in my system, in just about 9.5 hours for both Storm and Retail, we can get you trained up to go from a totally dull Airbnb knife to a sharp knife right away, like that. And that's why folks like Eric had a sales rep that got 8 deals on his first day. And I've had sales reps do over $1.5 million, 2 million in their first year. I've even had some sales reps, one specifically earned about $350,000 in commissions in his very first year, and it was on a short season. And it's because we're able to go through that progression quickly. So if you're on this channel, you're doing the right thing and investing in yourself. And I just want you to leave on some words of wisdom and a little personal note. Forget what you see on the internet. Forget the latest trick of just fine-tuning this word or that word, and just focus on the fundamentals. Can I start that conversation at the door? Can I stay in conversation when people challenge me? Am I confident overcoming an objection, or do I just leave? And then, am I doing the right activities to generate my deals? Am I asking for the business? So keep it simple and don't get in the weeds and too fine-tuned. And my last piece of advice is, remember to keep it linear. Focus on what you need to do in order. Don't overtrain yourself, because I see a lot of new sales reps who will give themselves the excuse that I need to learn all this, and this, and the industry thing in order to feel confident, when in reality, it's just a distraction so they don't have to go do what's uncomfortable, which is to get in front of customers when they don't feel like they're good enough yet. And the only way you're gonna feel like you're good enough is with practice. So I wanna close with this. Practice, 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 practice some more, do some role play, set up a camera, film yourself, watch yourself, critique yourself. Owners, managers, if you're using my system, my role play training is included, but with practice on the fundamentals, you, my friend, can go from a dull knife to a sharp knife, and in time and in your career, as you're already making money, you can turn that sharp knife into razor sharp. Now, that's all I've got for you in this video before that crew's getting back from lunch, about to get that roof going. So thanks for joining me here, and if you haven't yet done it, jump into my free training center for a whole bunch more. And if you want to learn more about my programs, there's links in the description. You can hang with me right here on YouTube. I think you're going to like this video. We'll see you soon.